And welcome back to the Week of Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, it's a multi-hitter today, folks. We got JG101, Nemesis Slasher 1356, and Nuclearized Hulk, who asked the question, who would win in a fight, Spawn or Pennywise, the dancing clown? I was literally just with my girlfriend yesterday talking about how I've done Pennywise on so many times. I can recite this shit by heart. Pennywise is a species of creature from the Stephen King universe known as a glimmer. Pennywise does actually have a species to it that exists from the macroverse that exists outside our universe. Think of it like a gobstopper. There's layers, and that's just a layer above them. Pennywise is not the top dog in the Stephen King universe, but it ranks. For the remainder of this video, we'll refer to Pennywise as a he, though its actual gender is up for some debate. But he is close to it. He's equal to Matern in terms of power, whereas he is a consumer and a destroyer. Matern is a creator and a giver. But he is not stronger than the Crimson King, and there's a few individuals he might be weaker than as well. In fact, the Crimson King is said to actually be able to just outright kill him if he need be. But Pennywise is, as we know, takes the form as the dancing clown, which is not actually the true form of Pennywise. This is a form Pennywise just likes to take. As far as we know, the deadlights are allegedly its true form, or at least the form that we can comprehend and then go insane and /die. But still, it's said that the deadlights may or may not be its true form. That basically, anyone who gazes at the deadlights will either go insane and die, or go insane, or as we saw in the movie, just be kind of put into like a trance, and then hopefully knocked out of it later on through like true love's kiss. But yeah, though it is stated that was it Billy? Not Billy, Eddie? I think it was Eddie, maybe, who stared into the deadlights. Even though he couldn't handle it, he allegedly thought he saw something that was like hair and teeth and like a little on the orange side, which orange kind of represents avarice. At least in the DCU it does, or the DC comics. But Pennywise's preferred form is that of Pennywise the Dancing Clown. As such, it is bound by the laws of the form it takes. So Pennywise can be theoretically injured and can theoretically be killed. However, it doesn't necessarily have strength much beyond that of the form it takes, in this case, the clown. What it does have, though, is the ability to psychically pick up what your fear is, read your mind, warp reality, project illusions, teleport, transform. Am I missing anything here at the moment? Again, and be empowered by your fear. And just overall, just Scrooge it. As he stated in the comic or in the books, fear, it's like salting the meat. He will eat us without us being afraid. But as we saw in the movie, he took a chunk out of that guy's armpit, and that guy wasn't afraid so much as just near unconscious. But he prefers us scared. That's why he goes after children. They're easier to scare. But Pennywise isn't infallible. Like I said, Pennywise is bound by the laws of the laws of the form it takes. So again, clown, he's only as strong as a clown, but when he turned into the giant spider form, the spider, he was a lot stronger. It's also with Pennywise really, because there's almost no one in the Stephen King universe who can actually outmuscle him in terms of like sheer abilities and power. It's a mental battle. It's a psychological, metaphysical battle when you're dealing with Pennywise. You have to overcome Pennywise mentally. You have to overpower it psychologically. You need to show no fear. You need to come, and in a group it works a lot better because you're able to basically gang up psychologically on this dude and more or less take away all his power. Pennywise, though, is still a very dangerous individual. It's just when you take Pennywise out of his own universe, he's really not all that impressive when you throw him into other universes. For example, you want the short end of the stick of the fight before you even go into Spawn? Spawn beats the shit out of Pennywise. Spawn lays a smack. Spawn does not have a great track record of clowns to begin with. Violator, anyone? But Spawn is just give me the puppy screeches while I'm talking. Spawn is like leagues beyond Pennywise in terms of just what he's capable of doing. Because Spawn is a hell spawn. Alex Simmons was a mercenary, died, came back, and was given, I believe, love of the 7th house or something. The suit you see is this living symbiotic entity. And besides just feeding off of hatred to power, Alex's hatred to power the suit, and his own necroplasm, it can feed off others' hatreds too, like Pennywise, who was really just a massive consumption in hatred. Honestly, Pennywise is like a perfect vehicle just to fuel Lilith. And then you factor in also that that Alex is a trained mercenary, has been to hell and back, so nothing Pennywise is going to throw at him is going to do anything. The deadlights aren't going to work on Simmons because he's not necessarily a living being anymore, which is one of the stipulations of the deadlights. They only affect the living. And even if they didn't, he's been to hell. He has literally killed Satan and God and met the mother of creation that created them. You really think Pennywise is something that would scare him? Even if for some reason he was able to feed off of whatever little fears Alec has left, Alec has dealt with individuals who can do similar things, so it's not anything Pennywise has under his belt that can affect Spawn. And that's not even getting into all of Spawn's actual abilities, which include summoning weapons, summoning magical change, a mountains of load of magical abilities, including possession, blessing, resurrection, energy blast, mystic fire, thinking words here, summoning souls, manipulating the elements. And this was all before he got to like the angelic creation powers. The only way to take down Spawn is to really decapitate him. That is said to be the true way to kill him. Spawn is not immune to holy weapons. Holy weapons and holy ground are a weakness of him as well. Not that it would really matter here. Even if Spawn were to like take refuge in a church, Al will just wait. He's just gonna wait out there. He's like, and just disappear in the shadow. By the way, meld with shadows. His cape alone is sentient and can do a bunch of things, turning into chains itself. Armor. Spawn is just a being that Pennywise has no measure of means of going up against it. If he tried to mess with Spawn, Spawn would just look at him, like, cute, I hate clowns. Just blow his head off. And the more times that Pennywise comes back, the weaker he'd probably be. So it's just not a good matchup for Pennywise in the least. Spawn would take this fight every time, I think. Every time. Even if he transformed into a big monster, nothing new to Spawn. So yeah, he really is just in a bad matchup here. My money goes on Spawn. But look, that is just my opinion. What do you think of the comments below? Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Pennywise would actually take the vast majority of these fights. Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time.